What if I told you I was crazy or a bit strange? Would you believe me?
Or what if I told you it was you that have breached the boundaries of reality? It's I who is perfectly safe. I'm trapped in a world that I don't want to be in, but I know that there's no way out. No way out. It burns inside every time I rhyme, but there's no way out. No way out.
It's not insane, but I'm insane if you know what I'm saying.
I swear this is not in this game we call hip-hop. Everything's twisted. You rap about drugs and guns and people listen. You mention how you floss in your whip and how you're dipping in your biggest vices become their addiction. Why? Who knows? But you gotta supply it. You gotta provide it. Cause you know they'll buy it. They don't like the good. They're in love with the bad side. Like how many niggas you don't clap last night? And how many chicks you hit from the backside? How many keys do you need to get your cash right? Yeah, I guess crime pays these days. So don't get upset when I talk this way. I'ma say whatever I want, whenever I want, to whoever I want. These are just my devilish thoughts. I'm not looking for salvation. I'm just a really good person in a fucked up situation. I'm trapped in a world that I don't want to be in, but I know that there's no way out. No way out. It burns inside every time I rhyme, but there's no way out. No way out.
It's not insane, but I'm insane if you know what I'm saying.
I swear this is not my fault.
If it's not yours, whose fault is it? My brain's a nice home with a rude dog in it. Yeah, I had a couple of rules, the rules are offended. When I shake my head, can't you hear the screws lost in it? I done spent years working on this new raw image, tightening up my sentence to groove, y'all witness. As time goes on, I get much stupider, and yes, I guess I'm just a product of the Lucifer effect. Cause all these rappers out now way too cocky, so I have to do the shit I do to make you watch me. And if you act with a record deal, I think you robbed me, so I have to come and break you probably. There's been enough beef up in this industry, but shit, I'm about to make more. It's what I threw my life away for. And those of you who kill hip-hop cause the shit. Now I'm about to murk you on the track and off of it.
I'm trapped in a world that I don't want to be in, but I know that there's no way out. No way out. It burns inside every time I rhyme, but there's no way out. No way out.
It's not insane, but I'm insane if you know what I'm saying.
I swear this is not my fault. This ain't my fault. Hip-hop made me do it. Lose it. Now my whole fucking life is ruined.
Just cause you don't do the same shit they do, you wanna break rules and run around trying to blame who? Me? Hip-hop? I fucking tried to save you. Now you acting like I never even tried to. You're who?
Huh? Oh, so you're that nigga hip-hop. I should bother you. You should get your fucking shit knocked.
Shit.
You're the reason why my album won't drop. You're the reason why I never ever was.
Stop. Don't blame me cause you ain't hot. You don't know how the new age rocks. And your label isn't dropping you cause there's a chance that you may flop. I'd actually be really surprised if you made guap up in this industry.
See, now, motherfucker, you're kidding me. Your opinion really doesn't mean shit to me. Cause I can murk any beat on any day. Rumor has it that your ass is dead anyway.
For saying that, you deserve to die. We got Soulja Boy, Tiger, Young Berg and Plies, Shorty Low, Bow Wow, Young Jock and the rest. You think I'm dead? I should put a hole in your chest, bitch.
Come on, hip-hop, they aren't real rappers. They're entertainers, actors, pure laughter. I think I got this shit mastered. You're thinking differently than you got the shit backwards.
And if I got this shit backwards, then all of the above will be irrelevant to you trying too hard to be a thug. You trying to blame me for shit that I didn't do? Maybe this game isn't meant for you.
It may be true, but hey, I really don't give a shit. Far as I know, you're dead. Live with it. Trapped in a world that I don't want to be in, but I know that there's no way out. No way out. It burns inside every time I rhyme, but there's no way out. No way out.
It's not insane, but I'm insane if you know what I'm saying.
I swear this is not my fault.
thinking they own me, just do me a favor, leave me the fuck alone. 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 Just leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone.
I regret meeting all of you. Lately, how much psychotic stress have you been through? Right now, I hate every fucking body, including you. I'm on the edge, you'll be lucky if you do get through. If I go crazy, then it's the song I'ma lose it to. Please tell my family and my friends this. I was never happy to begin with, I actually pretended. Too many hands I done lifted. All my life plans got evicted. I'm mad I existed. I'm finally dropping all the shit you motherfuckers hand me. The only girl I ever loved doesn't understand me. Since I was young, I tried to be way more than what I can be, and people still never show respect but act demanding. Y'all mentality is fuck me, but I don't need nobody but me. Trust me, it don't seem like it, but I've been living out the matrix. Face it, I'm a lot smarter than you think, bitch.
Well, everybody who knows me understands I'm a humble guy. Those who thinking they own me, just do me a favor, leave me the fuck alone. 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 Just
Yeah, yes, thank you, Battle Angel. I'll drop the link in a second. Anybody who wants to come hang out can do so.
leave me the fuck alone. Leave me the fuck alone.
I regret meeting all of you. Every day it's like the same crap. What if I died and never came back? You'd hate that, wouldn't you? I'ma put a blade to your neck, push it through. Quit telling me shit that I shouldn't do. Ooh, I've been blocking my feelings, but now I can't hide them. Been looking for God, how come I can't find him? Nothing in my fucking world seems to go right. Even though I hate suicide, I need to go try. I live my life the way I wanna, I ain't pleasing you. Got a problem, I fuck you up, I got a reason to. Y'all trying to gain my trust, saying we believe in you. Then you walking on me after all that we've been through. That ain't even cool. Now death is what I hope you get. And just remember that I told you this. We ain't cool, I don't owe you shit. Look what you made of me. Now, matter of fact, just stay away from me.
Now, everybody who knows me understands I'm a humble guy. Those who thinking they own me, just do me a favor, leave me the fuck alone. 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 Just leave me the fuck alone. 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 Leave me the fuck alone.
I regret meeting all of you. What if I left this world today and this crucial pain that I'm in? Would you be there at my funeral saying, oh, I loved him? Or maybe, just maybe, he'd be that one nigga that never showed up. I'm about to lose my mind. Why must I have it so rough? Listen closely as I'm rapping this. I used to think money brought people happiness. It does, but we never think about what happens after it. Since I got it, I started to learn hate. Everybody turns fake, wanting shit like it's their fucking birthday. And that just adds on the stress I'm already dealing with. What am I supposed to let it build and sit? Hell no, since then my fucking balls grew. I said it once and I'll say it again. Fuck all you.
Oh, everybody who knows me understands I'm a humble guy. Those who thinking they own me, just do me a favor, leave me the fuck alone. 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 Just leave me the fuck alone. 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 Leave me the fuck alone.
I regret meeting all of you.
Warning! Fan police en route.
Hey, hello. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Pigskin Pete. Happy Sunday to everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Just in case you're wondering, I was doing amazing and fantastic. I put the link in the stream. Anyone who wants to come hang out, of course, this is a Sunday night stream, not a call-in show or not anything like that. If you want to come and hang out and talk about anything, we can do that. The Final Four solidified, Mrs. Pete.
Ew.
Yeah. Kansas, Villanova, Duke, and North Carolina. Poor Miami. You heard it from her. Poor Miami. Anyway, I was unable to do the show on Friday night, the call-in show with me and your boy Tiger Baskins. So I figured I had some fun, some time tonight. I would come on for an hour or two, depending on how things go, and say hello to all my people. What's up, people? Let's see who's in here, Mrs. Pete. Of course, we were on the Boss Babe show earlier.
Yeah.
That was fun, wasn't it? Always, she says. And then, of course, Tiger Baskins came on and gave an inspirational stream. He's an inspirational guy, Tiger Baskins.
Oh, I love him.
He reminds me. I was telling Mrs. Pete, we have a friend named Carlos. One of my friends for my entire life, since first grade. He reminds me a lot of Carlos.
Carlos has had a hard upbringing.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Carlos. Very inspirational guy. Anyway, what's up, Matt Dummett? Christopher McDavitt. Millis Vanillis is here. He says, roll, Tide, roll. What do you think about that? You should have seen the look she just gave me. Pizza Woman. What's up, Pizza Woman? She says she hates North Carolina. Well, I'm not a big fan of North Carolina either. The first person I thought of whenever North Carolina won that game was, of course, our boy Luke Walker. Congratulations to Luke Walker. But I hate Duke way worse. I can't stand Coach K. The sooner he gets out of basketball, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Now, look, he might be the GOAT. I don't know. That's debatable, I guess, right? Is he the GOAT or is he not the GOAT? I don't care. I just don't like him. I think he's an asshole. You guys remember, I think it was last season. It was a post-game press conference. Duke lost to somebody in the ACC. I don't even remember who it was. That doesn't even matter who he lost to. It was a post-game press conference, and they had some like 13 or 14-year-old kid in there who they let ask him a question, like a reporter, and he laid into this kid like he was an adult. Turned me off to Coach. Well, first of all, Coach K is an asshole anyway, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back. How can you shame a kid? A kid. If that was, I'm telling you right now, Mrs. Pete, I got a kid that age. I got a 14-year-old. If that was my kid that came on and asked him that question and he shamed him like that, I would have jumped up on that stage and whooped his fucking old ass. I would have.
Not for me.
Yeah, not before you. I know you would have too. Christopher McDavitt, Pizza Woman, the real Puff Daddy. No, you're not the real Puff Daddy. The real Puff Daddy is right here. This is the real Puff Daddy right here.
What's up, big dog?
Battle Angel says, I'm loving these impromptu Sunday hangout streams. Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. And that's what this is all about.
So,
it's all about.
Can I tell you something real quick?
Let the big dog eat in a second. Hold on. I'm almost done here. Zona Tucson 93 says, what's up, Pete? What's up, Zona Tucson 93? Elijah Allen. I'm great, amazing, and fantastic, sir. Brad Pitt. Jordan Bowman says, what up? Yes. Okay. Go ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
You see what I'm looking at?
What is that? Is that an Amazon truck? What is that? Oh, damn! You got the fire, the EMS, everything. What's going on?
Literally after my stream, I came upstairs. Smoke coming from the house across the street. It caught on fire. So there's 2 fire trucks here, about 6 fire trucks, 2 ambulances. It's really emotional. The mom is like in shock. She's on the ground just like wailing away right now.
Oh no.
Kids are crying. Like it's
dang. I was about to make a joke and say were they Miami fans, but that doesn't sound like a joke situation.
No, it's crazy. And I mean, like I said, after everything that I just talked about, and it's like taking life for, being grateful for everything, and then watching these people's livelihood burn up right in front of me, like.
Oh,
So,
damn.
anyways, not trying to depress the stream or anything, but just I was gonna plan to come on anyways, and circumstances kind of happened. So
Yeah, no, I hear you. So let's show. Hold on, pan the camera around again. Let me see what's going on over there. Is the house still on fire?
no, the roof under, like in the attic, it is,
Uh-huh.
but so far, that's about all I can show you, because on the front side of the house is where the mom and their family and like 50 people out of the neighborhood are, and I don't want to be.
Yeah. I got you.
But something happened in the garage. I said, what'd you say?
I mean, there's nobody's hurt though, right? Or
no, yeah, they literally just got home from a baseball tournament and got home. Were there about 10 minutes, and something popped in the garage, and then they heard, went out there and they realized it was on fire. And they were trying to contain it because it was getting like really windy. They were trying to contain it to where it wouldn't go to the house next door. But
are you in the house next door?
Yeah, I'm across the street.
Oh, across the street.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah. So anyways, just another point to the whole, take life, be grateful for everything you have, because sometimes things happen to other people as well. And and I know the mom, and after I get off the stream, I'm gonna go try to, just give her a hug or something. But it's been emotional watching this. Like stuff like this, it's not fair that stuff like this happens to people.
Yeah.
Anyways, what about you, big dog? You okay?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm definitely okay compared to them. It would be silly for me to complain about shit when my house is not on fire right now.
There's a third one, by the way.
Yeah.
Another one. Steve. Well, look, we'll let you say hey to Steve real quick, and then I'll let you go, because I know I want the stream to be more positive than this. I'll be in the comment section. Come say hey to Pigskin Pete.
Let me say what's up to Steve.
What up, Peter Pig?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Steve? I got more nicknames than anybody on YouTube, I think. Now.
I've heard great things about you.
Thank you.
He says he's got more nicknames.
I do.
But yeah, dude. Yeah. We'll let you go though, okay?
All right, buddy. Be safe out there in the street.
Appreciate you.
All right, man.
I know. See you, bud.
All right, man. Man.
Are you pork skin, pigtail, or
pork skin Pete, pig skin Pete? What did he just call me?
pigtail Pete?
Pigtail Pete. Foreskin Pete. That was the original one. Foreskin Pete. You didn't know about that one.
No, I did not know that.
What did he just call me? I don't even remember what he just called me. I don't know. I got so many damn nicknames. I don't even know what to call myself anymore. What's up, Baylor, man? Sir UGA. Yeah, prayers for those folks. Ukulele Pete. I haven't heard that. That's a new one. That doesn't rhyme though. What's up, Slim Shady Canes? Man, Slim, your team. I was pulling for the Hurricanes, man. In that game against Kansas, they got their ass whooped. They lost by like 20 points. What's up, SE Tiger Fan 803? D4 is in the house. What's up, D4? I just posted the link for anybody that wants to come and hang out and talk about anything. That's what these, that's the best thing about these Sunday streams, Mrs. Pete, is anybody can come in and talk about anything they want to talk about. There's no subject matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. She knows what I mean. You know what I mean too. What's up, Mayhem Matthew? Yeah. That's a good one. That might be my favorite, actually. Texas Pete.
Come get that ass. Peace, everybody. One love. We'll see you soon, Texas Pete.
Texas Pete. Oh, Law Tide. Oh.
I love that.
Well, Friction Vixen's in here. What's up, Friction Vixen?
You Tabasco Pete the other night.
Tabasco Pete? Yeah. That doesn't even rhyme, though.
I didn't like it.
No, look. There's only one Texas Pete. There's no Tabasco Pete. That doesn't make any sense. That's no good. SC Tiger fan 803 says North Carolina will win it all. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all, actually. I hope an ACC team wins it. And so since you have Duke and North Carolina, I don't like Duke at all. So
I'm going for Villanova.
yeah, well, we know you are. We know you are. What's up, Fish and Football, Taj and Pete? What's Taj and Pete, man? You talking about Taj Boyd? What's up, Slim?
I'm going to come on here and cry.
Well, we love people coming on here and crying. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, I started to hope for a minute that Miami was one of those newfangled basketball schools. And apparently I was wrong.
Well, you should still be proud of your team to make it to the Elite Eight. Nobody expected that.
Oh, I am, absolutely. They've never made it that far before, so, hey, shout out to them.
Look, man, if Clemson made it to the Elite Eight, I would throw a party over here. You know what I mean?
Well, it did make it easier that I didn't have to sit there and watch it, that I got to hear about it while I was driving.
I would throw a party if Clemson just made the tournament, let alone the Elite Eight. I mean, geez.
I got a question, Pete.
What?
So, can you give me a real quick education? Who do we got in the Elite Eight? Has it been set already or no?
Well, we're down to the Final Four now.
Oh, we're in the 4. Okay, because I haven't been able to keep up with it this weekend because I've been so busy and I had my kids.
It's Kansas and Villanova and Duke and North Carolina. That's the Final Four.
Oh, Duke and North Carolina. There's 2 heavy hitters right there, huh?
Yeah, and of course, the conspiracy theorists are running around saying that the refs are rigging the NCAA tournament so that Coach K can win a national championship on his last season.
Okay, he's the Duke coach, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because I really don't know any of this stuff. I'm trying to learn it.
Yeah,
all right.
He's retiring. So
okay.
I do think it's interesting though how Luke Walker had been saying all year that this was a down year for the ACC in basketball, and you almost had 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams from the ACC.
Yeah, no, there was more ACC teams in the Sweet 16 than any other conference, and not only that, the SEC, every SEC team that made it in the tournament, I think, got knocked out in the first round, which was even better.
But Arkansas went to the 16, didn't they?
Okay, so I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did make it to the Sweet Six to this. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so did Auburn because that's who Miami put out in the Sweet Six.
Okay.
As long as the SEC doesn't win, it's a win.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
So,
Kansas
and Villanova. Who's the favorite in that game?
I would imagine that. Well, they're both 1 seed, I think. So I don't know. I don't know if the lines have come out yet. They probably have, but I mean, that game just ended. I mean, that matchup just got solidified like a couple hours ago. So I haven't really looked.
Oh, I see.
And Duke and North Carolina, I'm assuming North Carolina is going to be favored in that because they beat Duke twice this year, I think. But I'm not sure about that either. There should be a good Final Four, though.
No, Duke, UNC.
You got four blue bloods in the Final Four. So after all that hype about St. Peter's and Miami and a lot of these other teams that don't normally make it that far, when it comes down to the come down, it's 4 blue bloods in college basketball in the Final Four. So it should be.
Gonzaga usually gets down to the 8 or the 4 a lot, don't they?
Who?
Gonzaga. Don't they usually get further than they?
Gonzaga is one of those teams. Hey, guess what they say about Gonzaga? Who have they played? Gonzaga is the who have they played of college basketball, because every year they get like a number 1 or number 2 seed in the tournament, but they go but they don't play nobody during the regular season. That's the reason they get it to such a high seed, but they always lose like in the round of 32 or 16. So, who have they played?
I've only been kind of keeping up with it this year because of all of y'all. I really don't.
Well, hell, I don't keep up with it either. The only time I even watch basketball, unless I'm actually at the game, like I went to the South Carolina and Clemson game, in December. I took my son up to Clemson to watch that game in person, but that was really the only game that I've watched from the whole game through because I was at the game. But I'm not a basketball fan. I don't.
When it comes to NBA, the only thing I know is that Zion Williams is a badass, and he's from Spartanburg.
Right. Yeah.
I know I'm going to be watching that Duke North Carolina game with a lot of interest because you know that if North Carolina sends Coach K home with a big fat L, they're never going to let Duke live that down.
Oh, I'm pulling for North Carolina. Are you like me? Who else in here hates Coach K? I think hate might be a strong word. I strongly dislike him.
I would reserve that more for Calipari because he's like the Urban Meyer of college basketball. I mean, Calipari, he's just a garbage human being, but he is a really good basketball coach.
Battle Angel wants to know, where does that put me in my bracket? You know what, Battle Angel, that's a good question. I don't know. Last time I checked, yesterday evening or last night, I think I was tied for 6th. I don't know where I am now, though. Don't know.
Oh, there we go. My mic's working. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's up, Jordan? A long time no see or hear from.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been pretty busy, but I hate Coach K too. I mean, I grew up in North Carolina, so I spent a lot of time around that rivalry, and I have a lot of family that are Carolina alums, and so they kind of brainwashed me from a young age. But yeah, I don't get down with Duke.
Yeah, me either. It's not even I don't get down with Duke. I just don't get down. Like, as far as football goes, of course, Duke's not a powerhouse. Neither is North Carolina by any stretch of the imagination. But I like Mac Brown, right? And I liked I like Duke's head coach too. But I don't. When it comes to Coach K, I can't stomach him, man. I can't stand. I'm glad he's retiring. He's an asshole.
How long has he been a basketball coach? Like forever?
40 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons between him and Saban as far as, the GOAT of basketball. And I'm not, he might be, I don't know. But that doesn't mean I have to like him. He's just a jerk, man. He's a jerk.
Well, that could be a blanket statement for every coach.
I mean, I realize a lot of people just hate coaches because they win a lot. And there's a lot of people that hate Coach K because he wins a lot. I don't hate people for winning. I just don't like his attitude. He has a radio show, or he's had a radio show for several years on Sirius XM radio. And I just don't like the guy. I think he's an asshole. I don't really know other way to put it other than that. I mean, I just, he just rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, anyone who apologizes for their team losing is that's not nice.
Mrs. Peete says, apologizing for your team losing. What do you mean?
His last game.
Yeah, his last home game when he apologized to the crowd.
Oh, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's not. I mean, you don't do that. I'm just saying, you don't do that to your players.
Just the way he acts on the court, the way he acts in post-game press conferences. That, like I said a minute ago, that press conference. You remember this, Jordan? You remember last season when they lost that game? I don't know who it was to, and they had that 13 or 14-year-old kid in the press conference to ask him a question, and he like laid into this kid like he was a serious reporter or something. Like, you've got to know like who you're talking. I understand you're mad and you just lost, but this is a kid, And then he had to issue this apology to the kid, because everyone was like, why would you talk to a kid like that? And of course, he had to issue an apology. The only reason he issued the apology is because of the backlash. He didn't really give a shit about that kid. He said, fuck them kids.
But that's another reason that would give Coach K a point in my book over Calipari, because when Kentucky got put out of the tournament, Calipari's got a weekly call-in show. He refused to take any calls to show after they got put out of the tournament.
Wow. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So, if Duke wins, will Sleeta make a video claiming to be the biggest Duke fan?
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
We'll have to see.
And a bunch of merch, Duke stuff.
That guy's insufferable. The worst thing that could have ever happened was Georgia winning a national title. This guy now he's a Georgia fan. I don't know if any of you guys follow him on Twitter.
Oh God, no.
Well, if you do, don't. Go ahead and unfollow him. He's insufferable. Insufferable on there. He walks around, and all of his YouTube videos too are insufferable now. All he does is talk about how he's a champion because Atlanta, the Braves won, and whatever the fucking soccer team there is, they won.
United.
Yeah,
and now, of course, Georgia. I mean, this guy, it doesn't matter what you say to him. All he goes, well, I won 3 championships in the past 2 years. What have you done? You haven't won shit, sir. I mean, this guy is something else. This Sleeta, he's insufferable.
I don't get how y'all let the court jester get under your skin like that. That's
He
all
doesn't
he
get under
is.
my skin. It's just
I don't even pay attention to him. I don't even I don't even see his stuff. I don't follow him. I'm not subscribed to him.
Well, you and everybody else. I guess I'm the only one here that probably does.
You know, all this started though when Peete found the only 2 women in Atlanta that knew who the hell he was.
I should have bought a lottery ticket that night because like finding those 2 girls that knew who he was like winning the lottery.
And it's like ever since then, he's just gotten worse and worse. And then Atlanta wins, then Georgia wins, then Atlanta United wins. This is all your fault, Pete.
Does anybody know Sleeta in here, like has his number? Please have him come on this stream. And anybody who's in the comment section going, who's Sleeta? You don't like Sleeta, Sleeta this, Sleeta that. Just have him come on this StreamYard right now, and I will confirm everything that I'm saying within 2
He's
seconds.
going to claim that he's the reason why your stream is active.
Yeah, right. He'll say that the only reason anybody's watching is because he's on here, right?
It doesn't have to be true, but he's going to claim it. He did that on Vic's stream. He claimed that nobody was in Vic's stream until he was on.
Yeah, he's an angry guy.
I don't get it. I don't know. How I had a cousin-in-law like that. And no matter what you did, he already been there and done it. He was one of those know-it-all kind of jerk.
Yeah, he had done it better.
Yeah.
I was so happy when my cousin, she got rid of his ass finally.
Hey, Jordan, since I have you on here and I don't normally see you on here, let me ask you some questions about Clemson real quick, since I have another Tater Man on here.
Sure thing.
Tater Man.
What are you thinking about? And of course, I'm like you and anybody else who's rational and not like Sleeta. I realize that spring practice is spring practice. It's glorified. It's hype. There's a lot of hype around a lot of people. But the 2 people I want to ask you about, one of them a current player and one of them a new guy, because I know that you follow this closely.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, DJ, there's a lot of hype around DJ. Did you see that video that they put out on Facebook and Twitter?
What was it? The Dakari Collins one-handed
yes.
catch?
They're hyping up and they put music to it and everything, right? This catch by Dakari Collins, a one-handed catch. The reason it was a one-handed catch because it was a fucking terrible pass. It was like 5 yards short. It was an underthrown ball.
Yeah, he had to go back to it.
He had to go back to it.
But I get why people were upset about that. It was a hell of a catch. I had to sit down and put it in perspective. I was like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that DJ isn't making progress. It's just, if people think that every throw in spring practice is perfect or is supposed to be perfect, and I bet you Cade Klubnik has thrown the ball like that multiple times this spring.
No, of course. I mean, they're throwing 100 balls a day, so you're going to get bad passes. But out of all the passes to throw up and put music to it and hype up on social media, why would they put the worst one? I mean, it was not a good pass. It was a great catch, but it just seemed weird to me that they did that.
I guess it's kind of similar to like when they posted that they used to post Andrew Booth a lot.
Yeah.
And like him, making plays on throws and stuff, and some of the balls weren't good. I think it's just kind of, I don't know. I didn't get as mad about it as some people did, but
well, I'm definitely not mad about it. I just thought out of all the things they could have posted as sort of a hype around the offense, that was a bad choice. That's all I'm saying about that. But
what I want to see, I want to see more of the running back. I mean, I know our running back depth is thin right now because Shipley and Pace aren't. But I want to see some Maffa. I want to see what some of the walk-ons are doing. But I want to see some of them making plays. But
so a lot of hype around DJ about the weight loss. I mean, first of all, he does look like a completely different person physically. For anybody who hasn't seen like a side-by-side picture from DJ from last year at this time till now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look, you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, the guy's obviously been working very hard on his diet and in the weight room or whatever. He looks physically like a completely different person, but I don't know how that's going to translate to the field. We'll all find out. But the guy I want to ask you about, the new guy coming in, a bunch of new guys coming in that everyone's excited about. But the guy I want to ask you about, the one that everyone is excited about, including me, is Adam Randall, wide receiver from South Carolina. Tell the people about this guy. I don't even know any other way to describe it. I guess the best comparison that I could make is DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He is built exactly like him.
He looks like he's built like a 30-year-old NFL player, and he's 17 or 18 years old.
Yeah, guys in the stream, if you guys don't know, you can look him up. Adam Randall, I think he's from Myrtle Beach, I think.
Yeah.
Guy is he's like 6'4", 6'5", 2. He's like 220 pounds, something like that.
0% body fat. I mean, the guy is stacked.
He already if you see pictures of him, he looks like the most NFL ready guy in the receiver room, and he just got to campus.
Yeah.
He is and I mean, from what I've heard, from what Dabo has said, and what some of the coaches have said, he is like the real deal. He is very, physically, mature and advanced for his age.
Yeah.
And he's been making a lot of plays in spring. So I'm excited to see him. I know some people wanted to talk about, great, it's another big receiver that can't separate, and that was our problem last year. I'm like, no, I think he brings a little bit of a different skill set to the room. Another guy I want to see more of is Antonio. When Antonio Williams gets here, because I think he enrolls in the fall.
Another South Carolina guy.
Yeah, another Dutch Fork.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see him play, because I think he gives a little bit more of a different, look at receiver. I think he could play in the slot. I think he's quicker. Yeah, and I think that's something this offense has been missing.
I mean, from an outsider's perspective, I mean, DJ or Cade Klubnik, whoever, or whatever wide receiver you have, that's all well and good, but I don't think and this, like I said, this comes from an outsider's view, I don't think any of it's going to matter unless they get the offensive line figured out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and we've suffered some more losses recently. Mason Trotter, he's probably not going to play at all. He played a lot of snaps at center and guard last year. He started a lot of games for an undisclosed reason.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, man. Isn't it weird how there's no explanation? He said it's not an injury or it's not a legal problem. So what is it? I mean, that to me, that sounds like it's an internal punishment, which is, I mean, what else could it be? I have no idea.
I have no idea. It kind of reminds me of like when Darian Kendrick when Darian Kendrick was in Dabo's doghouse, but didn't say what it. I mean, they didn't say what it was,
but that was a legal problem, and Dabo's saying this isn't a legal problem.
Well, that wasn't the legal problems happened after he was already kicked out. I think the internal stuff was him not going to class and showing up late for practices.
Wow.
But
see, that's the problem with these coaches wanting to be so vague about it, and Mario's already kind of done some of that. When you are that vague about it, you're inviting speculation.
Yeah.
Right. That is true, Slim. But on the other hand, when you're dealing with college kids, I think that Dabo, like a lot of coaches, is trying to protect the integrity of the kid.
Right.
So
well, and I get that.
It's not the NFL, and these kids don't have.
Yeah, and also it's not like, and also he's not saying that he's out for the entire season. He says he's probably out for the majority of the season, whatever that means. I don't know if that means 8 games, 10 games, or what. I don't know what it means, but that's a huge loss. That's an upperclassman offensive lineman, and like Slim said, Clemson's their weakest point and what everyone's looking at right now is the offensive line. So that's a huge loss as far as depth goes. Anyway, I don't know about him being a starter or whatever, but as far as depth goes, that is a huge problem. But offensively, I think Clemson's in good shape for minus that issue, and clearly defensively they're in great shape. I know if me or Jordan Bowman comes on here and says that Clemson is looking at being one of the top defenses in the country, especially defensive line, people go, of course you're going to say that, Pete, because you're a Clemson homer. But I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, watch out for Clemson's defensive line this year, and defense as a whole. They will be something to deal with, especially in the ACC.
Yep. This is the best defensive line in the country. I'm just going to say it's the best defensive line in the country.
But no one's going to take you seriously, Jordan, because you're a Tater man.
I know, but just the depth and the amount of playmakers we have this year, it's honestly, we're deeper this year than we were in 2018. We had some really good guys starting in 2018, but the depth in this year's line is insane, especially at defensive tackle. Oh my God,
we're looking at probably 4 to 5. At least first round talents. I don't know if we'll have 4 to 5 guys from the defensive line go in the first round, but there's 4 to 5 first round talents. I mean, the first string for Clemson is an NFL defensive line, period.
Yeah.
And you got a couple of guys behind them that are also NFL college grads. So there's maybe 2 or 3 other schools in the entire country that can say that. So this year defensively, Clemson's going to be something to deal with, no doubt.
Well, yeah, I mean, even with the offensive line problems and whether or not y'all are going to have quarterback issues, which remains to be seen. I mean, until proven otherwise, I've got no reason to think that Clemson won't win at least 10 games again this year.
All right. I think the schedule sets up fairly well. I mean, we have to go to Notre Dame. We had the home game. NC State obviously is projecting to be pretty good. We play Miami at home late in the year, but I think the schedule's workable.
The schedule is favorable.
Yeah.
And listen, Slim, I appreciate the sentiment, but we won 10 games last year with the 13th out of 14th best offense in the ACC.
Who was worse? Was it Virginia Tech? I think Virginia Tech was the only one that, or Duke. It was either Virginia Tech or Duke.
I think it was Duke.
Yeah. It was rough.
Well, I mean, it's one of those, like, everybody's piling on because both your coordinators left, and I have questions about it. At the very least, your offensive coordinator. Yeah. I think your defensive coordinator is okay. Like, I'm not one that just thinks a team's going to fall off the edge of the world. It's like, especially if they get the offensive line figured out, they've got the firepower. I mean, I wouldn't bet the mortgage on Miami beating them, even though I think Miami will be better this year.
I do too. I think they're setting up to be pretty good.
I am falling into the Miami trap. I fall into this shit every year.
I fell into it hard last year. I'm not going to fall into it as hard as I did the last year, but I do think they're going to be I think they're going to be a top 20. I mean, I think they'll be a top 25 team.
Ballard says Clemson might get back to 10 wins.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point
we haven't left 10 wins.
Coherent response. Were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought? Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
How many straight 10-win seasons has Clemson had, Jordan?
11 now.
11, I'm about to say 11, yeah.
But they might get back to it this year. Give me a break, dude.
Longest streak, the second longest streak of all time, tied with Florida State and right behind Alabama.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Well, they might get back.
To to both of your points, I'm probably more critical of Miami than just about anybody, and even I'm kind of falling down the rabbit hole a little bit. I'm trying to temper it. Listen, they're more talented than people think. They have a top 15 roster in the nation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And Cristobal already answered one of the questions I had about him because I thought his staff at Oregon was terrible. And I think you'll see, to Miami's biggest weakness from last year, which was their defense, I do think you'll see an immediate improvement with Charlie Strong and Kevin Steele there.
I think so, too.
So that's why I don't think they'll fall into the trap of what happens a lot of times in college football, that when you bring in a new staff, you have a worse record than you did the year before. I don't think they're going to fall into that this year.
And it helps that, he's coming in with he's taking over a program that already has an established quarterback. Tyler Van Dyke is one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC.
Yeah, I mean, you can call that a top 5 to 10 returning quarterback in the nation.
Oh, I agree with you. And they have the luxury, not the luxury, but just the fact that they play in the Coastal Division, which is right now. I mean, how many new coaches are in the Coastal this year? There's a lot of turnover in the Coastal.
Yeah.
And so out of all of those teams that have turnover in the Coastal Division, I'd say that Miami has the best roster out of all of them. So, I mean, they're primed to have a run this year. But it's like the Miami fans, I'm not saying necessarily you, but it's just like on Twitter, like, oh, Clemson's gonna get challenged by Miami this year. They lost Brent Venables and they lost Tony Elliott. I'm going, well, you have an entire new coaching staff too. And as far as recruiting goes, Clemson is at least 2 or 3 years ahead of you. I mean, it just is what it is.
Well, Miami's roster is where Clemson's was when they won with Deshaun.
Right.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I'll say this. I don't think Miami will beat Clemson in November, but they've definitely got a better shot of doing it in a rematch. Because, I mean, the old adage is true. It is hard to beat a team twice.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever runs Miami's social media and hype department is what I call it. I don't call it social media. I call it hype department. That's because that's really what it is. They deserve a raise.
Yeah, they've been killing it.
They really do have a knack for pumping up that team from year in and year out. And I again, even though I know better, I fall into the trap every single. I'm not even a Miami guy, but I fall into that trap every year. And every year I tell myself I'm not falling into that trap again until they show me something. I'm already falling into it. It's only March.
Now, I wanted to ask y'all something because they did something. I've never heard of a coach holding a coaching clinic halfway through spring. Like, they held a coaching clinic, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think Dabo's done that before. I feel like he's done that before.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't think that's that abnormal, Slim.
Yeah, I don't think it's that.
That's something I haven't seen before. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's kind of a cool thing to add because all of a sudden in the middle of spring practice, now you've got Ed Orgeron, Jimmy Johnson, and Sean Payton walking around.
Can we get? Sorry, I don't want to change the subject too quickly. But can we get Golden Blue Dude in here? I just put the StreamYard link in there. I got a bone to pick with this guy. Oh,
this should be good.
Yeah, well, it's not YouTube related. It's football related. But first of all, shout out to Golden Blue Dude. I mean, this guy's out here putting in work, and he puts out 18 videos a day. So I'm not hating on the guy, but he did a video. I don't know if it was last week or something. It was sometime recently where he was talking about who's going to be the top dog in the Big 12 in 2022. And you know who he picked? Did anybody see his video?
I did not.
I'm going to throw out a wild guess and say he picked West Virginia.
No, not West Virginia. That would have been actually better than the one he picked. BYU. Now, I don't have a problem with that because first of all, you have BYU coming in, you have UCF coming in, you have Cincinnati coming in, right? That is happening in 2022, right? Is that confirmed?
I didn't know. I thought they were coming in whatever year Oklahoma and Texas went out.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I don't know how that whole thing is working.
All right, so let's just for argument's sake say that They are coming in. Whatever year, it doesn't matter. Once Oklahoma and Texas leave, and BYU and Cincinnati and UCF come in, that's what the video is about. He picked BYU to be the automatic front runner in the Big 12, and I'm sitting over here going, what about Baylor? Like, why is
Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma
Gundy's
State
still there.
I put both of them ahead of BYU. And his response to me was, Baylor is the flavor of the week. No, sir. Baylor. Look, when it comes to who's going to take over that conference, it's all about the coaching staff and the roster. Forget the flavor of the week. Baylor to me is the most solid team in that conference. It's not even really close. I mean, I guess you could say Oklahoma State because of the continuity there with Gundy and everything.
Yeah.
But Baylor has made a very clear commitment to football above a lot of the other schools in the Big 12, including West Virginia. And
they spend big money on athletics.
They spend big money on athletics. And to me, coaching is everything. And I think that Dave Aranda is once the Oklahoma and Texas are out of there, I think that they have the best coaching staff in football. I don't know how long Dave Aranda is going to stay there. I'm a huge Dave Aranda fan. At least as far, I'm not a fan necessarily, but I believe in what he's doing there. And I just feel like that it's Baylor's for the taking. I mean, BYU. Look, here's the thing about these group of 5 teams that come up. Yeah, they do great. I mean, who had BYU played? Have you seen BYU's schedule from year in year out? They might have the worst schedule in all of college football.
Yeah, it's not great, especially and usually a lot of the bigger name independents usually schedule a little bit better than.
Yeah, and then what was it?
Army has a tougher schedule.
Was it 2021? Which I know 2021 was a weird year with COVID and everything, but BYU was like undefeated going into the last game of the year, and they played Coastal Carolina and got waxed.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. I don't get the hype around BYU. I really don't.
Coastal played a trash schedule this. I know that's not relevant, but they played a trash schedule this year.
Well, that's the problem with all these teams, including Cincinnati. And I think that Cincinnati, look, if you're going to talk about one of these teams coming out of the group of 5 and coming up and making an immediate impact, I'd put Cincinnati miles ahead of BYU as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
See, I don't. I think Cincinnati is going to end up falling in that same trap that UCF did. They're going to have them a couple of good years, but then they're going to fall back off.
Well, their coach left. The coach that So, I mean, it depends. It depends on what.
Well, Boise fell off before Peterson left there.
Yeah, I mean, did they fall? Did they really fall off? I mean, they weren't winning. Obviously, they weren't winning Fiesta Bowls.
Well, it got to the point they weren't competing for them anymore. They were still ranked, I think, because of their name. But
I remember them beating a pretty good Virginia Tech team.
I remember that too.
I think Peterson was still there.
Jay Shipes, you ain't right in the head, bro.
Your best. Losers always want their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Nah, BYU players.
And you would think that, because of some of their rules, that they would have an advantage because their team is older than any team in the country.
Yeah.
Well, they're like 30.
Yeah, because they all go on mission or whatever.
Yeah, they all have to do missionary work before they get enrolled in school or before they start classes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's an unfair advantage. That's like, if Clemson said, we're going to do a 10-year internship before you can play at Clemson. Everyone's 40 years old, out there throwing around these 18-year-olds like it's nothing.
Somebody said my name 3 times. All of a sudden, I'm here. What happened?
Good. Explain this to me. Now, I understand. Look, man, I've been in the game a long time, man. So I respect the hustle. You're making videos and you got to have content. But this whole thing about BYU taking over the Big 12 automatically, this is the most asinine thing I've ever heard, man. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, that's up there with Mark Rogers saying Kentucky was going to win the
East. We're never going to let him live that down. All right.
That video was, Oklahoma, Texas leaving the Big 12. who's going to have the key, not necessarily who is going to, be the most dominant in each sport, but who's going to have the keys, who's going to be in the back pocket of the Big 12. And the reason I picked BYU is because the Big 12 went out on a limb to try to get these guys. So BYU's the biggest prize out of Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. BYU's the biggest prize that the Big 12.
I don't even agree with that. Why would Cincinnati not be a bigger prize than BYU?
Money. That was the context of the video. It was really more about who's going to make the most money for the Big 12. BYU has an international religion.
Private school versus
support.
International religion.
Yep. They're the school for the Mormons. They are the school for the Mormons.
That's not an international religion, sir. That's a religion.
It is. It's international
in the country, and that's the only place it lives.
Yeah, I don't know much about Mormonism practiced outside of the United States.
Well, I mean, Mormonism aside, I mean, I am old enough to remember when BYU was a perennial top 25 team.
That's true.
Well, I'm old to remember when Michigan was a powerhouse, and so was look, USC. What they've done in the past has nothing to do with now.
I made the mistake this past year of underestimating BYU because they lost Zach Wilson. I said BYU will be lucky to make a bowl. And they ended up winning basically the Pac-12 South, beating teams that I didn't think they were going to be, including Utah. So I think they're going to be just fine in the Big 12, and I think they're going to make the Big 12 a lot of money.
I'm not debating whether or not that BYU will be competitive in the Big 12, but saying that they're going to come in there and automatically be the big dog. I mean, I'd put them fourth or fifth on the totem pole in year one or two.
Well, I think BYU has more sustained success than I think y'all mentioned Baylor and Oklahoma State. Right now, Baylor is really, really good. How long will they be able to keep Dave Aranda? I don't know. How long are they going to be able to keep up, what they're doing right now? I'm not sure. It's more about question marks with Baylor and Oklahoma State because they haven't been consistently, elite like they are right now.
Baylor, Oklahoma State has been winning 9-10 games under Mike Gundy for years.
Yeah, and Baylor. Listen, here's what it comes down to. They've been playing a Power 5 schedule for years. When did Baylor join the Big 12? What year was that? It's been a while.
They've been there a while.
And they've been playing a Power 5 schedule for a while, and they're succeeding at a high level in the Power 5 over the past, say, 4 or 5 years consecutively. It's not like Baylor just had one good year, like you see some of these Power 5 teams, they'll have one good year out of nowhere, and then they just go back to being a 6 or 7 win team. They've been a sustained success over a period of years. And that is an adjustment when somebody I'm not saying BYU can't become that. What I'm saying is that BYU, like we were just talking about a minute ago, is coming from a strength of schedule well into the hundreds. Baylor isn't.
I don't think it's that big of a gap because BYU's schedule is considered Power 5. Most of their schedule is Power 5, actually. I think they play like 3 or 4 at the most group of 5. So I don't think the gap is that big, but I do see your point. I'm not trying to diminish your point. But I'm not convinced that Baylor can, just be at this elite level forever or even consistently for the next 5 to 10 years. I think, and another thing is BYU, I think once they get into the Big 12, I think that's going to add even more advantage for them because their recruiting will go, through the roof because they'll be in a Power 5. That's going to be much more appealing to a lot of these recruits. So I'm factoring that in as well.
Well, what's funny is that we hear about these teams like Georgia Tech and Notre Dame and all these schools that, sit on their high horse about academic requirements to get into schools and this and that, and that's their disadvantage. BYU's at even a bigger disadvantage because, first of all, not only the academic requirements, but, the fact that you have to do what is it, a 2-year mission, 3-year mission or whatever it is.
Yep.
It makes it even harder to recruit high-level players than even the average great academic school like a lot of these schools claim. So I don't know. I mean, as far as
that's true, but that's not a what's it called? a requirement for the football team. That's like for the Mormon faith itself. You don't necessarily have to be a Mormon to go to BYU. I mean, is it a Mormon school? Yeah, but that's not a requirement.
2 or 3 year mission before you can play football.
I didn't think that was a requirement for athletes.
I'm not sure about that.
Unless they're practicing the Mormon faith.
Well, you don't have a choice but to practice the Mormon faith when you go to BYU, sir. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Well, yeah, you do. You don't have to. There are plenty of non-Mormons that go to BYU, just like there are plenty of non-Catholics that go to Notre Dame.
But Notre Dame's not making people do missions.
No, but they are making all their students go to at least one mass every Sunday.
Well, that's a far cry from having to sit out for 2 years and travel to Africa or wherever, Cambodia to do some kind of a religious mission. Going to church on Sunday, hell, I'd do that drunk.
I'll have to look into that BYU thing.
I think both of you have got some points. I mean, BYU has more of a historical resume than Baylor does, but after everything that went on with Art Briles at Baylor, and then as bad as they got almost overnight, and then they've already turned it around to winning the Big 12, I'm not really following what you're saying as far as Baylor being able to sustain it.
Well, how many times have they won the Big 12 though? This year?
Yes, but they just got their legs back under them from almost getting the death penalty.
Well, that's a move.
That's true,
Blue dude. I mean, how many times has BYU won the Big 12? 0. So what's the point in that? I mean,
I just think them going into the Big 12, it's going to help their brand, and they're going to be able to recruit a lot better. I mean, we already know they're good historically. I think that just adds on to the appealment of BYU.
I don't know. I know that you don't have to be a Mormon.
I'll have to actually look into that. If that's true, then that's a whole different story. I was under the impression that that's just if you practice the Mormon faith. I didn't know that was the requirement to be a football, to participate on the football team. If that's true, then that does change things. I mean, that's 2 years of your life. I mean, they got a bunch of 22, 26-year-olds out there instead of 18 to 20.
I'm pretty sure that it's every student that enrolls there has to do that. Now, I could be wrong.
That's crazy.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they make exceptions at BYU for anything.
I'm not sure if that's true because look how many players have historically come out of the service academies and not ended up serving a day of military service.
Well, there's only been like 2 of them in history.
Hey, that's a good video idea. I might look into that, not just for like BYU, but what he just mentioned, the Service Academy, Notre Dame, like all these, certain schools that are connected to either a faith or, military branch, the requirements, all that stuff. That's a good topic. I like it.
I know that I've told the story on here how my dad graduated from the Naval Academy in 1965. So he graduated the same time that Roger Staubach was. Roger Staubach was a classmate of my dad's. They graduated together.
Wow.
Roger Staubach went into the military before he went in the NFL. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Now, this whole thing where they waive your military obligation to become a professional athlete, that's fairly new. When I say fairly new, I mean within the past 20 or 25 years. So I don't know. Again, I don't know about BYU, and I don't know about any of the other service academies either, with like Army or Air Force. But I do know. I mean, didn't David Robinson? He was basketball player at Navy. I'm pretty sure he went in the military for a few years before he went into the NBA, didn't he?
I don't believe
so.
No.
I think he did. I think you're right about that.
David Robinson was pretty young when he came into the league. I mean, I remember he went to the Naval Academy.
20 though.
I think that's why they call him the Admiral. I think he literally got that.
Well, that was because he went to Annapolis.
Yeah, I don't think he definitely didn't reach Admiral rank. No, that takes a long time.
I thought he did. Okay.
No.
Okay. That's fair.
But I do think that he filled his obligation, though. I think
he reached lieutenant.
But he did serve his obligation in the Navy before he went to the NBA, though, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean,
he was a civil engineering officer at Kings Bay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was about to say that reaching lieutenant. I mean, you come out of Annapolis a junior grade lieutenant.
But my point is, though, there's you only have to. It's only it depends on the service academy and the time, I guess. But there's a certain amount of years that you have to serve before you can do anything else. And I'm pretty sure that both. I know Roger Staubach met that requirement, and I think that David Robinson did too. There was a big deal. There was the quarterback back in 2000 and in I think 12 or something. You remember that? He was a Heisman front runner, the quarterback for Navy. I don't remember the guy's name now.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was a big deal because he was projected to be a first or second round pick in the NFL draft, and they had a big deal about it. And they actually the Navy decided to let him enter the draft instead of fulfilling his Navy requirement. And that was a big deal. And that was only 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago.
Right. What was that guy's name? I can't remember his name.
I think it was for some reason. No, it might be the coach. For some reason, I'm thinking Hawaiian type of name, but that might be the coach.
Yeah, that's the coach. No, this guy, he was an African American gentleman. I don't remember his name, but anyway.
Yeah. I don't.
Nowadays, it's more acceptable than it was, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But
yeah, I agree. Hey, what did you think about my take on South Carolina possibly scaring Georgia in the SEC East?
I think that might be. I didn't hear that, but that might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, sir.
Fair enough.
I mean, look,
I'm still picking Kentucky and Tennessee over South Carolina right now.
But I didn't pick them to win it, but I picked them to jump. And I got the same reaction last year whenever I picked Kentucky to jump to second and Florida to fall from the champion of the East all the way past fourth, and that happened. So I mean,
again, I don't want to shit on your video or your opinion, but what are you talking about this year? Or are you talking about maybe
this year?
This year. Yeah, that's not happening. No.
I mean, you could just throw a random dart out and say that Georgia's going to lose this game because everybody loses a game that they shouldn't. But,
well, it's not that. South Carolina was top 10 in the transfer portal. They got Spencer Rattler, their top 25 recruiting class. Their schedule is favorable. It was a bunch of ingredients that went into that recipe.
Well, top 25 recruiting class in the SEC is only about you're like maybe
like 13.
You're still like bottom half.
Yeah,
of the league.
I've heard this a lot about Spencer Rattler. There's a reason Lincoln Riley didn't want him to come to USC. There's a reason he got benched.
Well,
I get he's a big recruit for South Carolina, but overall, no, I'm not buying anything on Spencer Rattler.
Well, last year Oklahoma had a bad offensive line protecting their quarterbacks. That's why Caleb Williams didn't do all that great either. They were back there running for their lives. He had a great first year.
South Carolina might be lucky to be the third, maybe the fourth best team in the East. Forget about the SEC. I mean,
I'm talking about the East, not the entire SEC.
All right. Well, so Tennessee definitely ahead of South Carolina. I'd say probably Kentucky too.
I'm taking Kentucky. Mizzou's right there.
Florida, who knows? I don't know. They're probably the most unknown team in the East. But at very best, I'd say South Carolina is probably third in the East. Now this year, I'm not saying that, in 2023 or 2024, what you're saying is not correct. But as far as this season goes, I think people are hyping up South Carolina way too much, way too soon.
What if you had to place them? Somebody said you got to place them right now. Where would you place them in the East?
I'm
third or fourth.
Third or fourth.
Listen, I'm putting them behind Georgia and Tennessee right off the rip.
Okay. So, and then possibly behind Kentucky.
Possibly behind Kentucky, right?
I got you.
Okay.
I could put them behind Mizzou, honestly.
Along those same lines, I'm hearing NC State getting hyped up from everybody.
Oh yeah.
I kind of get the NC State. I'm kind of.
They return everybody.
Everybody's on NC State.
They don't lose anybody.
They don't lose anybody. But tell me, look, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a history guy.
Yeah, but you also have a bias for the NC State head coach. You hate
I do too. And I'm still.
Yeah. And guess what my bias is about? The fact that he doesn't win 9 or 10 games 2 years in a row ever, and he's been there forever.
Well, that is.
He's never won 10 games.
So that's not really a bias.
He's never done that.
It's a numbers issue.
It's a fact.
You got to understand the fact that I do not like the head coach. I get that, but as far as his history, I hear this about NC State almost every season. So I know a lot of the people that don't really pay attention to the ACC. They just look at the roster and say, well, NC State, they got a pretty good roster. They got everybody coming back. I look at the history of the head coach, and the history of the head coach, as far as I'm concerned, is not very good when it comes to this kind of thing. It's very rare that NC State or Dave Dorn wins 9 or 10 games 2 years in a row. It just hasn't happened.
Where would you place them in the Atlantic?
Second.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest is going to fall.
I don't even put them second. I put them third. We think about that.
I would honestly put Wake Forest ahead of them because they're returning that entire offense.
I can't simply because of Wake.
Their defense.
Their defense and Wake doesn't match up well on the lines of scrimmage.
And nobody's talking about Florida State. Now, I don't think that Florida State's going to come out there and be gangbusters or anything, but to put NC State ahead of Florida State, I think is kind of foolish. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's Clemson is the clear cut front runner, obviously, for obvious reasons. But after that, Florida State, Wake Forest, and NC State, all those three guys. I mean, you could flip flop any of those ones. Who's going to be second, in my opinion? And
I honestly think it'll come down to the tiebreaker.
Florida State right now, but until they're not, until Florida State, bows up, and Florida State's roster is just as good as NC State's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but okay, what you just said about Dave Dorn not winning 9 or 10 games 2 years in a row. I mean, we haven't seen Florida State hit 500 in 5 years?
Yeah, but so here's the difference though. Dave Dorn's been at NC State for a while, and so we have something to go off of. We don't have that luxury with Florida State as far as the head coaches.
I will say this. I don't think that I don't think Dave Dorn has had a quarterback as good as Devin Leary in his time at NC State. So I do think that does make it a little bit different. I mean, he did have Ryan Finley. I think Devin Leary is better than what Ryan Finley was. So
I agree with that.
I think that could. I mean, Devin Leary is one of those. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. I think that could be a difference maker. In maybe we see a little bit more of a consistency from NC, at least from last year to this one. But we'll have to see. I think NC State is. I like NC State's defense more than their offense. But I think.
I got to run, guys. My kids are going to bed for school.
All right, hey, thanks, Golden Blue Dude. I appreciate you stopping in, brother.
Anytime. Appreciate it.
All right.
I'm glad you brought up that consistency point, Jordan, because for 3 years now, all I've heard is North Carolina, and there is no more inconsistent team in the history of football than North Carolina over the last 3 years.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not on the UNC train. I mean, especially since they're replacing the best quarterback in school history. I'm not.
Well, in my opinion, he's the reason that they were so Jekyll and Hyde. Because when he's on, he's great, but when he's off, North Carolina is terrible.
I think Sam Howell didn't. He didn't always do himself favors, but I think there were a lot of there was a lot of issues on both sides of the ball from a coaching standpoint. UNC played. I feel like UNC was soft. I think they didn't really play up to their talent level. I think that they got physically whooped in a lot of the games they played on the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm actually more disappointed if I'm a North Carolina fan in their defensive consistency than their offense consistency. I mean,
that's why they fired Jay Bateman.
Yeah,
I think they did not play up to, because they're pretty. I mean, talent wise, they're pretty solid defensively, but they don't. They haven't played up to it, and I think Sam Howell, he didn't really have a whole lot of time to throw. The offensive line, for an offensive line that returned as many snaps and starts as they did, they were pretty bad. So,
I mean, that sounds like both of those points kind of sound like Miami, to be honest with you. That was Miami's story last year. They had, 5 seniors on the offensive line, and that offensive line still got a quarterback hurt and never opened up the run game.
Yep.
Well, we've got this ACC discussion going, and it's rolling hard. And of course, Talk is Pitt is probably sitting behind his phone or laptop, just steam coming out of his ears. So let's see what you got to say, man.
Let's
What's
talk
up, guys?
trash about Pitt.
Well, what can you say? I mean, we have more ACC titles in Miami. Sam Howell cannot beat Pitt, even if he was Superman. I mean,
And Kenny Pickett couldn't beat Miami, sir. What's your point?
yes, he could. He beat him his freshman year.
And didn't beat him again.
Yeah, that was it.
Actually, that was the most embarrassing time you could have lost to Pitt.
Kenny Pickett's so great. He's 1-3 against Miami. Oh.
Oh, Miami's so great, and they have 0 ACC titles.
I've never made the claim that Miami's so great, sir. You're the one coming.
Well, I mean, you act like it. I mean, I'll take losing to you guys all the time if that means you don't have an ACC title.
I kind of get where Talk is Pitt's coming from. Like, they're feeling really good about themselves, right? They're the ACC champs, reigning.
They deserved it. They were the best team.
They were the best team, and they're looking around, and nobody's talking about Pitt, right? Because Kenny Pickett's not there anymore, and so everyone's talking about Miami like they do every year.
Well,
I
actually
understand
did
where this guy's coming from.
I did actually bring up Pitt the other day because somebody was I don't remember whose show it was. Somebody was talking about Pitt being a dark horse. I actually said either Pitt or Miami should be the favorites.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be a dark horse,
I agree. I think it'll come down to Miami and Pitt for the Coastal. Because we play it's the last game of the season. We play Miami the very last game of the season. It's going to come down to that.
It might. Pitt brings back a lot, other than
we return the whole entire offensive line. Our receivers are coming back. We replaced the defensive tackle, but he wasn't a starter. He was injured 9 weeks out of the year.
Pitt's always going to have a good defensive line. I don't really.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about the defensive line. Well, we just got a transfer, but I can't figure out who. Because usually when Pat Narduzzi tweets out that somebody committed, he'll have the year on his tweet, and when he doesn't, that means it's a transfer. So I'm thinking it's the linebacker from West Virginia, so I can piss Golden Blue dude off.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Miami just picked up that defensive lineman that was leaving UCLA.
Oh yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And I mean, I get that it's UCLA, and I kind of think the same thing. But I mean, last UCLA transfer we got turned out to be pretty damn good.
Yeah,
he was probably the best player on the defense. So yeah, he's a good player. I do agree that Pitt is probably, Pitt and Miami. It might come down to that head-to-head matchup. Seriously, I mean, Pitt's not going to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Pitt's still going to be good. I like they bring back Jordan Addison. I like their running back Izzy Abanikanda. I think he's.
That's a big running back.
Yeah,
where
he's good.
Is the Pitt and Miami game this year? Where is it?
Miami.
Yeah, it's at Miami. Well, my question with Pitt's going to be too. Not only did they lose Kenny Pickett, but they lost their offensive coordinator.
That would be a concern, except the offensive coordinator we have now, Frank Signetti, he was the OC at Pitt the last time we won 10 games. Back in 2009 or 10, he was the offensive coordinator here for Pitt with Dave Weinstadt, which is actually last time we won 10 games in a season.
And I do think there's enough talent. I think Pitt's receiver room.
There's too much talent.
Yeah, I think they've got. I think they're still going to be. I don't know if they're going to be. I don't know if they're. Who knows if they replicate the 11-12 win season they had. But I still think they are. They should be.
I don't know.
1A or 1B to Miami as the favorite.
The ACC is not even our goal. Now we want the Natty.
Oh, come on.
Okay, let's calm down.
We already got the ACC championship. We're going for the Natty.
Sir.
I'm not saying we're going to win it because I think hell would have to freeze over for that.
I'll give credit where credit's due, but Pitt's their goal right now should not be national championship.
Yeah, I think winning the division, I think trying to repeat as conference champion should be. That
would be a minor miracle.
Yeah,
itself.
because I think there's just a lot of I think there are a lot of teams in the ACC. Well, I think they're definitely on the easier side of the conference, so that helps.
That's why I love the ACC, man. Everyone talks about how
You
shitty
call-
it is, but there is
You
3 or
call
4.
Miami fans delusional.
There are 3 or 4 teams in the ACC where their fans legitimately think they're the best team in the conference. You can't say that really about any other conference, unless I guess maybe the Big Ten you could say that, or the Big 12. But ACC fans, obviously Clemson fans are running around thinking they're the best for obvious reasons. And you got Miami fans thinking they are, Pitt, right? I can't wait for that. I can't wait.
NC State fans are.
NC State fans, right.
Well, and I'm going to pull myself off that boat. I think the absolute ceiling for a Miami season is a New Year's Six game.
The talent's there. You
the
win the
talent's
ACC,
there.
go to the Orange Bowl.
Well, I don't. I think they'll probably end up losing the ACC championship game more than likely, and that would probably still put them in a New Year's Six.
Yeah, I think it would.
Speaking of delusional ACC fans, let's welcome Luke Walker to the stream.
I was trying to let my phone charge, but when Talkers Pitt started saying dumb shit about Sam Howell, I had to hop in. You are so lucky you didn't have to play us in 2020. We would have dragged y'all. Dragged you. Javonte would have had 200. 200. That's the limit of that team.
Ty Chandler couldn't even get 100.
Ty Chandler couldn't lace Javonte Williams' shoes.
Yeah, I do think Javonte is better, but still.
I'm sorry. We own Sam Howell, and that's that.
Luke Walker is really perturbed that
you own us.
I said Sam Howell. I didn't say
you got
North
your
Carolina.
first win against us in the ACC in 2 years last year.
That
was the last time North Carolina won it? I wasn't even born.
Well, Luke Walker, you're also talking about the same guy that thought because Kenny Pickett beat Miami once that he was great.
I think he's great.
It doesn't
honestly,
matter
it
what
kind of
you
balances
say.
out because Miami was really good, and they were like top 5 in the nation when they lost to Kenny Pickett in 2017. And then
and I was around in 2017 calling that team fool's gold at the time. I knew it was.
And they did it because weren't they?
Yeah, that Miami team almost lost to the worst North Carolina team in years.
Literally the only game that they won by more than a touchdown was 2 games was Virginia Tech and Notre Dame that year.
I'm gonna go ahead and defend Caucus Pitt on this one with Kenny Pickett. You put Kenny Pickett on Clemson's team with that roster, they run through the ACC like a hot knife through butter. He is good.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's bad.
He's no Sam Howell.
He's never lost to Sam Howell.
Sam Howell and
he would have gotten drugged in 2020.
I think, and I said this earlier, Sam Howell's just too Jekyll and Hyde for me.
True.
And I may be putting more.
It wasn't really Sam Howell.
It
was Jekyll and Hyde. It was kind of the O-line.
Yeah, like I said, I may be putting more of it on him than what he deserves. But that's just the way football goes. The quarterback ends up getting more praise than he deserves and more blame than he deserves.
That's fair.
Unless you're a kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there were games that we lost in 2020 that we didn't punt. Like we lost to Virginia and we didn't punt a single time in that game. He threw 1 interception and we lost.
I'm just telling you, Kenny Pickett was the best quarterback in the ACC last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was probably 9th or 10th for the rest of his career, so it kind of balances out.
Well,
that's probably fair.
That might be true, but he's going to be laughing all the way to the bank on draft day.
Exactly.
True. Right. We'll see who lasts longer in the league.
It ain't going to be Sam Howell.
Who knows?
It's going to be Kenny Pickett, I'll tell you that.
Oh, it will be
Kenny
Kenny
Pickett
Pickett.
is older, so it's we'll see.
I mean,
It
Mitch
depends on
Trubisky
where
had one
they
great
end up.
year. He's trash.
A lot of it also depends on where you end up. I mean, how many players have been drafted to Cleveland to end their career?
Yeah,
a lot.
So, I mean, some of that's also beyond their control. I think if there's any number of players, if they didn't end up in the situation they're in, could have been better. I mean, Dan Marino, if he didn't end up in Miami, could have ended up a whole lot better.
Didn't say something about Mitch Trubisky. Look, it doesn't matter what team.
I didn't say something about Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I mean the guy played 1 year.
Look at Mitch Trubisky's 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year exactly. And look at every year since
then.
Did
Kenny Pickett have? How many good years did Kenny Pickett have? One.
I think.
Well, technically, no.
Played 1 year.
The man was mediocre for 4 years. He was 27 years old, dominating college football.
Mitch couldn't beat out Marquise.
He had more than one good year. Trust me. He passed for almost 4,000 yards his sophomore year.
He led the country in attempts for like 150 attempts.
Okay, 4,000 yards on 150 attempts is very damn good.
My point is, Trubisky only played
Sam Howell Everyone talked about Sam Howell being terrible this year. He threw for 3,000 yards and ran for 800.
He only started like 10 games in all of college.
He started 13 or so.
Oh, 13. My bad.
Marquise Williams started above him. I mean, Kenny Pickett's played like 13 good games.
Because and that's no disrespect to Marquise Williams because he was pretty good. He was a good college quarterback. But if Mitch Trubisky was so good that he was supposed to be this highly touted, maybe not number one, but first round quarterback, he couldn't beat him out.
I watched Kenny Pickett. I watched every game Mitch Trubisky played in college. I could have told you he wasn't going to be that good in the NFL.
Okay, hang on.
Ahead of Deshaun Watson, and that was before the butthole fingering.
I laughed my ass off when they drafted him second.
I know Mayhem Matthew is trying to be a Georgia fan and an SEC homer. Is there any conference full of more one-hit wonders than the SEC? And honestly, until proven otherwise, that's all Georgia is another one-hit wonder in the SEC. Auburn, LSU, Florida. Right now, Georgia, until proven otherwise, one-hit wonders. The only consistently good team in that conference is Alabama. That's
what do you think about that, Millis Vanillis? Go ahead and give him a roll tide one time.
Be another.
Millis Vanillis fell asleep.
I'll say a roll tide for him.
No.
Just kidding. Ew. Just kidding. Ballard says Deshaun will get cut in the preseason.
Everything Ballard, are you drinking today?
Dude, he might be for real.
Everything he says is dumber than the last thing he says. I mean,
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Ballard says
God have mercy on you.
Deshaun Watson will get cut in the preseason. So you think they're going to pay him $230 million guaranteed money to cut him in the preseason? No,
they must take money. That would sink their. That would sink their.
I can't wait for the Browns to finish fourth in the division still.
The quarterbacks in that division are
garbage.
Pretty good.
Mitch Trubisky, bro, come on.
I'm not even a Steelers fan. Don't even try that.
Deshaun Watson's going to fan so harder than any of those massage therapists that he fucked.
In which he did.
Did you see his quote in his press conference where he talked how hands-on he was in Houston?
Dear God.
Oh, man.
You're probably the worst name for a podcast, hands-on.
Guess what, though? He got the last laugh, didn't he?
I know.
He got the last laugh,
$230 million guaranteed.
That certainly didn't rub him
the Browns really screwed over the Ravens, though.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Baker.
Deshaun Watson got $230 million guaranteed. Lamar Jackson's about to get $400.
Yeah.
Does anybody up besides idiot Browns fans and a couple of idiots on television actually think the Browns are now a Super Bowl contender just because they have Deshaun Watson?
Never thought they would.
Hold on now.
I think the Browns have a pretty good roster.
Yeah. Listen,
I'm not debating that, but the Browns have won one playoff game in 26 years.
That doesn't matter, sir.
The Browns is the Browns.
When the Patriots were a 2-win team every year, and then all of a sudden they got the quarterback in there and they won 6 Super Bowls. So, I mean, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
The Patriots at least had Super Bowl appearances before that.
Yes.
When? In the 30s? I mean,
they made a Super Bowl like 2 years before Tom Brady got there.
The
Patriots.
People that talk about the history of a football team or program has nothing to do with now. Absolutely nothing.
But my point is the Patriots have more Super Bowl losses in the last 10 years than the Browns have playoff wins.
Yeah, until they don't, though. That's my point. This isn't like
I'll believe it when I see it with the Browns getting good.
First of all, I'm not claiming that the Browns are all of a sudden become some sort of dynasty. But if you look at the Browns roster and you put Deshaun Watson on top of that, name 5 other organizations in the NFL that have a better roster than the Browns and a better quarterback. There isn't any.
No, they have a great offense, but you can name about 20 better defenses.
No way, sir. No way. Their defense is loaded. Their defense might be better than their offense is.
Here, okay.
Loaded?
I'm about to.
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on.
Let me.
They might have the worst defense in their division.
Okay. So let me list the starting quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns the last 10 years.
Exactly.
All right. You have Baker Mayfield. He's started for about 4 years. Deshaun Kaiser. Cody Kessler for 8 games. RG3 for 5. Josh McCown for 3. 2015, Josh McCown for 8. Johnny Manziel, for 6. Austin Davis for 2. Brian Hoyer. Connor Shaw started a game. Jason Campbell. Brandon Whedon. Brian Hoyer again. Brandon Whedon. You seeing the pattern here? And then you go through all of that, and then now all of a sudden you have Deshaun Watson, who's a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the league.
Definitely top 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I gotta respond to this, sir. UGA. What Miami has done has absolutely shit to do with the statement I made. So get over your SEC bias. They're a one-hit wonder conference outside of Alabama. That's just a fact. What Miami has done is completely irrelevant to that. And it really gets old that the best somebody come up with when I pull out a flaw with your team or your conference is what your team in shit. Okay, I never made the statement that they were. Anyway, back to Deshaun Watson and the Browns going to the Super Bowl.
Here's what we do know. We know that in today's football in the NFL, you have to have an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Now, you can go back to 2015 probably and say, well, okay, well, look at the Broncos when they played the Panthers and they won the Super Bowl that year because they had like a ridiculous defense. And you go back to the 2001 Ravens and there's several,
Well, even the last time the Ravens won it,
but
nobody would make the claim Joe Flacco's elite either.
90% of the time, though.
Joe Flacco was elite for those 3 games. He got paid like $30 million based on those 3 games.
Yeah, that's true. He was insane in that playoffs. But
I mean, at the same time, I mean, how many MVPs is Aaron Rodgers going to win and choke in the playoffs every year?
Well,
now. Watch what you say about Aaron Rodgers.
The Browns weren't even in the playoffs last year. So
the Browns roster is way better than what Aaron Rodgers is working with on a year-to-year basis right now, anyway.
Well, Aaron Rodgers
is probably second best in football.
Well, I mean, until 5 minutes ago, Aaron Rodgers had arguably the best or second best receiver in all of football,
and nothing else. Nothing else.
I kept hearing about how great
they're after a wide receiver, trade for one. The Packers literally refused to
I kept hearing how great their defense was, though.
Who, Green Bay?
Packers' number 3 receiver just got paid $10 million a year, so I don't really want to hear about that.
But here's the thing, though.
Take Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay and put what's Jordan Love? Is he the next guy in line?
Yeah.
I believe
They're
so.
a 2-win team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Green Bay's done good at drafting quarterbacks, so I mean that's one of those.
Look, I'm a Green Bay fan.
2 quarterbacks that are worth the shit in the past 30 years. They just happen to both be Hall of Famers. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a Green Bay fan, but Jordan Love
pretty good percentage.
Jordan Love ain't shit.
I haven't seen. I can't.
You don't really know that yet. He's played one regular season game.
Exactly.
He has one start. And yes, he technically did outperform Patrick Mahomes. That's only because Green Bay's defense absolutely shut down Patrick Mahomes until the last quarter. And then that was it. I'm a Green Bay fan, but Jordan Love ain't shit. He's nothing.
I mean, we don't know.
And by the way, I don't need to hear about Green Bay's defense being why they choked, considering the 49ers scored 10 points in the divisional round.
And Ballard finally says something. Ballard finally says something smart. You're hearing the same thing out of Dolphins fans now that they've picked up Tyreek.
Well, Tua ain't got any excuses now. I mean,
Tyreek better be getting ready for all those wide receiver screens he's about to get from Tua.
Mostert. Good Lord.
Well, I think the Dolphins.
How many games did the Browns win last season with Baker?
8,
6 or 7,
like that.
Well, you can't. Baker got hurt halfway through the season and was out.
Yeah, and even when he did play, I think he played hurt too. So.
Yeah, well, I think that's what ended up. He broke his shoulder and tore his labrum and ended up having to have surgery because of it. But I think he only played like half the season.
Yeah, they went 8-9 this past season.
Yeah,
I think his backup did better.
I hope Deshaun Watson's still super fast because he's going to need to be running for those D lines in that division.
Well, I mean, they do have. They probably have the best offensive line in that division, though. The Browns do.
Well, that didn't work out too well when the Steelers had 8 sacks on Monday Night Football.
That division is absolutely just loaded right now.
Look, it's like I said on my walking and ranting video. Anything over the Houston Texans is a massive upgrade for Deshaun Watson.
Well, I don't disagree.
Well, the Texans were actually okay for a couple of years.
Yeah, because they had Deshaun Watson, and that's really the only reason.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins, that O-line was better than people were giving it credit for.
Yes, but I mean, how much talent do the Tech? I mean, they literally wasted one of the better wide receivers to come out of Miami in the past 25 years.
Well,
Andre Johnson was a hell of a receiver.
He just said that they had a decent offensive line. Deshaun Watson, his first 3 years in the NFL, got hit more than any quarterback in the history in his first 3 years in the NFL. So the offensive line.
Yeah, I would second that one.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And honestly, I think what did them. I think Bill O'Brien. I mean, Bill O'Brien deserves a lot of the blame, but I think Bill O'Brien as a coach, when he was just allowed to coach the football team and not make any roster decisions, and he wasn't a GM and doing all that, I think they were a lot better off.
He took Brock Osweiler to the playoffs.
Yeah, it was when he started. It was when he the success got to his head, and the front office let him do what he wanted, and he made some just asinine roster decisions. And
I mean, you can make the same statement honestly about Bill Belichick at this point. Good head coach, but he looks like a complete fool as far as a GM.
Well,
I don't know about all that.
He's made some questionable decisions since Brady has left.
Flat.
Well,
I mean, he made questionable decisions before Brady left.
This man hates receivers. I think. I think
Nikhil
Bill Belichick
Harry.
really
I
hates
mean,
wide
come on.
receivers.
And I mean, for the supposed defensive genius he is, somebody put it together. They averaged the 15th ranked defense for all the years Brady was there. So, I mean, it's not like they had a top 10 defense every year there under Belichick.
I guess that's fair, but it's also a bigger sample size. I mean, there's not many coaches like Bill Belichick that have been at their respective team for that long.
Well, I'll grant that. Yeah, I'll grant
it
that.
does mess with the numbers a little bit.
And he's the guy that's been building those rosters, and he won. I know Brady was the common denominator and everything, and nobody could take that away from him. But I mean, the guy won a ton of games with like a totally different roster every year. He just had a philosophy about we're not overpaying receivers or running backs. We're going to put money into defensive line and offensive line.
Which is definitely easier to do when Brady's your quarterback and willing to take less money.
Sure. Yeah, and that's rare. That is rare. You're right.
But I mean, it's one of those too. I mean, you also can't. The numbers speak for themselves. When Tom Brady's not his quarterback, he has a losing record as a head coach.
Yeah. Well,
we'll have to see. I mean, what he does with Mac Jones and
Now, granted, that's also counting Cleveland in there too.
Maybe Cleveland should draft Pickett.
Well, that's not going to happen. They just paid Sean Watson $230 million.
Yeah, they don't have their first round pick.
No.
Yeah. Unless Deshaun Watson decides to get charged again.
We can't.
No, they've already decided. I mean, he's going to have to deal with civil suits.
Well, unless he, I think he means if he were to go out and commit a crime, like.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Afterwards, he can't be tried like criminally again for.
No.
Yeah, unless it's a new case.
Well, yeah, he can.
Well,
he can. The only way he can't be tried again is if he was already arrested and charged.
I mean, look, man, I've been charged with more crimes in my life than Deshaun Watson has, so I'm more likely to commit a crime than Deshaun Watson is from here on out.
So I second that one.
Well, and I hope, and the hope is Deshaun has just learned his lesson and he's going to be super careful about who he.
I don't think he did
his
it.
Time with.
I mean, I think he slept with all those women. I just don't.
Well,
think
no,
it happened.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he was laying that pipe seriously.
Oh, he's absolutely
But he did, and that part is weird to me. I'm not going to defend that part, but there is evidence that some of the stuff that the women claimed wasn't consensual was consensual and stuff. So and some of them lied about it. Some of them reached out to him to offer more services and stuff. So
man, I mean,
which is a lot of the reason why they couldn't try him. They couldn't, charge him because a lot of them, quite a few of them either lied or they didn't. They omitted stuff. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a big difference between assaulting somebody and paying them for sex. I mean, look, how many guys in the NFL you think are paying for sex every year?
Every single one of them.
A lot of them.
I guarantee you about 80% of NFL players are shaboinking with somebody that's. I would.
Hey, I've seen Any Given Sunday. Okay, there are a lot of ex-NFL players and coaches in on the production of that movie.
Christian football says, doesn't he have a wife? No, he doesn't. No, Deshaun's not married.
Yeah, he's not married.
Yeah, he's not married.
And you remember when he first got drafted to Houston and he put out that Instagram video where he was like in his house with that porn star. What was her name?
Mia Khalifa. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Look, man, you knew immediately he was fucking her. So I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You don't hang out with porn stars and just play basketball.
Okay, May and Matthew, seriously, stop making dumb comments. Okay, there's only one school. You talk about elite players not wanting to go anywhere but the SEC. There's only one school with more Hall of Famers than Miami, and that's Notre Dame. So, shut up.
Man, you don't even get me started with him. Don't even get me started with him.
Nothing is free fishing football. Nothing is free.
Yeah, ain't nothing like grass.
He's paying for it somehow. Whether it's dinner, whether it's taking them out, it ain't free. It ain't free.
Does the SEC have more players drafted total? Yeah, you're talking about 9 rounds of drafts. Yeah, you got a bunch of 9th rounders in there. But if you look at the first, second, and third round, the Big Ten, the AC, all of them, the Big 12, it's pretty even.
It is.
It's just a lot of the later round guys go to the SEC so that they can claim more total draft picks. But how many of those draft picks work out? And
I had this conversation with Ballard the other day. Out of this amazing run that Nick Saban has had in Alabama, how many of those guys are going down in the Hall of Fame? I ain't seen one yet.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's more starting quarterbacks from the ACC than any other team or any other conference in the NFL right now. It's been that way for the past 7 or 8 years.
Well, you can say they're not smart comments, Sir UGA, but I mean, I'm sorry that facts don't care about your feelings.
You can take stats and twist them any way you want to make your conference look better or whatever. I mean, I remember it might have been like around 2016. There was a whole whole campaign, like a commercials for the ACC, and this was smart by the ACC. They didn't talk about how many players were drafted from the ACC, but their whole thing was more first-round draft picks than any other conference in 2015. That was it, and they played that commercial like 10 times a game.
Yep.
So everyone's like, "Oh man, the ACC, man, they got the best players because they got the most first-round draft picks." Meanwhile, they probably had like 20 less players than the SEC total.
Yeah.
But so my point is, you can bend any stat the way you want it to make to look, to fit your narrative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like some people try. And some Miami fans, and I think this stat doesn't really matter, but some Miami fans try and hype up that no schools had more first-round draft picks in a single year than Miami.
Yeah. Right. But it's the ultimate SEC homer bullshit to go, oh, there's no other great players except for the SEC, which is total bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, Vandy is perennial trash. Mississippi State is perennial trash. Arkansas is perennial trash. I mean, half of your conference is no better than the bottom half of the ACC.
A lot of these fuckers couldn't even name who Aaron Rodgers played for, Like, they don't even know. Who did Ben Roethlisberger pay for? How many of you guys know that? Now, I know, but how many of you guys know that? Not necessarily the guy.
The bathroom stall?
Yeah.
Guess what?
Who did Tyreek Hill play for? Right? Who did
Oklahoma State, and then
who did Antonio Brown play for? Most of these people, and I know some of you might know who they are. My point is, a lot of you people don't know who they even played for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did Jerry Rice play for? Who did Dan Marino play for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Brett Favre.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is another one.
Dan Marino is actually in Pittsburgh right now. I saw him at work yesterday because I work for the university.
No, Ballard. Nobody's going to miss Alabama when they're done with this run.
Okay, they got it. They got it.
They got it? Okay.
Yeah, somebody got it.
All right, cool. Hold on, I still see him in here.
It still shows up in the stream.
All right, I got it. I took care of it. It's good. Yeah.
No, Sir UGA, I didn't say you were the SEC homer. I said, man, Matthew was being the SEC homer.
Well, consider the source. He's he's delusional in life, not just football.
I think that's the only conference we have a winning record against is the SEC. I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, I think we're 26-4 all time.
Yeah, and anybody that doesn't want to join the SEC like Florida State or Miami, they're just scared. Yes, Miami had 5 national titles, and they were scared to join the SEC. Whatever.
Dabo Swinney has a winning record against the SEC.
Yeah,
I think everybody does.
Bobby Bowden finished in the AP top 5 for 15 years straight, but he was afraid of the almighty SEC. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, I heard for 20 years that Clemson was no good because they play a weak ACC schedule, and then they started winning national championships, and they go, well, the only reason they're winning national championships is because they play a weak ACC schedule. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
No.
That's really dumb.
Even I thought that was stupid when I kept hearing that.
I still hear that to this day, especially from Big Ten people. Not so much SEC people anymore because they pretty much figured out, well, we're an SEC team. Most of the time we play Clemson, we lose. But the Big Ten teams, they still say that shit about Clemson.
Yeah, well, it's like I hear about Miami's losing record against all these schools. Yes, Miami was a perennial trash can until the late 70s. That they had no history until the late 70s. That's why so many teams hated on Miami when they did get good, because they went from the team that everybody used to pick on and beat up. It was the cupcake on their schedule to them finally smacking people in the mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anybody that really watches football, pays attention to it, you can really just watch a team, or at least I can, for a game or two, and you can tell. I don't care who they're playing. You can just tell if you know what you're looking at anyway.
Oh, yeah.
This is a legit team. I don't care who they're playing. But some people don't see it that way. They just go, oh, well, they beat them by 50 points, but look who they played. You know, that's the whole who have you played deal.
Well, that's Miami's last national title run. All you hear nowadays, and it's kind of that revisionist history. All you hear about nowadays is, they played the Big East, but nobody looked at the fact that there was 6 top 25 teams on their schedule.
Yeah, they just it's a lot of jersey name on the jersey. Watching what.
Well, I don't even necessarily think it's that. I think it's more recency bias. Like how I brought up the point earlier that BYU for a 30-year stretch was a perennial top 25 team. Well, so was Syracuse at one point. So was Rutgers at one point. Now, you just look at them today, and they're like, trash can teams, which they are.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Rutgers was ranked 11th the last time Miami won a national title when they smacked them around.
I think it's more of just fans that are just jealous of whoever the hot team is this year. And they're like, well, we're not there, and they are, so let's find a way to diminish them and say, that they play in a shitty conference or whatever it is.
Sounds like Wake Forest fans.
Wait, Wake Forest fans?
I didn't even know they existed until the ACC championship.
Stop it.
I mean, I've met Wake Forest fans, but I grew up in North Carolina.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, Wake Forest has a student body of like 4,000 students.
They don't have a lot. I mean, even Clemson, Clemson's fan base from in the grand scheme of things isn't that big of a fan base. I think we have
ACC. It is though. I mean, they have. I mean,
within the ACC,
schools, they're one of the bigger pop. As far as student body wise, they're one of the bigger schools in the ACC. Florida State, Clemson. I mean, North Carolina, Wake Forest, Duke, Virginia. They are tiny schools.
Well, yeah, and that was exactly the point I was fixing to bring up. You look up, Wake. I don't know about Wake Forest, but I know Duke and Miami are both private schools and have got much smaller student bodies than a lot of other places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason you see like Michigan fans and Ohio State fans everywhere. I mean, they're huge schools. I mean,
they are
60,000 undergrad students at Ohio State. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's 3 times the amount that Clemson has.
Yeah, I mean, the entire economy of Columbus, Ohio runs around that university.
Well, the entire state runs around it because there's nothing else to do in Ohio except for to go to that stadium.
Damn, then that means we have the biggest student body in the entire ACC.
What's Pitt?
Right now, over 100,000.
No, it's not. There's not a school in America that has that, sir.
Penn State does total students.
No, they don't.
I think they do.
They don't.
Well, actually, no. No, they don't. Not anymore.
Not only do they not have that, but Pitt definitely doesn't have that, sir.
Well, doesn't Penn State have like 2? I think they have like 2 campuses, though.
So, Mrs. Peete, Pitt is smaller than Clemson, student body wise. They might.
I'd have to look that up.
They might have 18 or 19 or 20,000 at the most.
I would hope that they have more than that because Miami's considered a small school, and they're sitting sitting at like 22,000.
Luke Walker,
in a city of 475,000 people, there's no way it's that little.
Luke Walker is correct. UCF has the largest undergrad student body in America, and that's 70,000. That is right.
Yeah.
Pitt isn't anywhere close to that.
No, I would put Pitt. I think it's a safe assumption they've got more than the 22 to 25,000 Miami has.
I don't think they do. I think. Well, I know that. Clemson has what 25,000, I think Florida State might have closer to 30,000. And I think those are the two biggest student bodies. Virginia Tech has it probably around that too. But
what about NC State?
I don't even think Miami is even at 20,000. I'm talking about undergrad now. I'm not counting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like,
oh,
total
okay.
student body.
I'm sorry, Pigskin. I didn't even hear the undergrad part. My bad.
Even with postgrad, you're not anywhere close to 100,000. No way. No way.
Well, Zach, the Purdue fan, says as of 2014, the average is around 34,000 for Pitt.
For Pitt,
NC State has like 36,000.
Look for undergrad though. So I don't know how many postgrad that includes. You know,
yeah, I think it includes their postgrad when I'm.
Because NC State, NC State has 22,000 undergrad.
They're probably like, I know this for a fact. Like, so the two biggest universities in the state of South Carolina are obviously Clemson and the University of South Carolina. The University of South Carolina has double the amount of undergrad students that Clemson has. They have
look at
45 or 50,000.
P. Digits with the jokes. He said University of Phoenix doesn't even have 100K.
Yeah. Yeah, UCF is huge. There. I mean, yeah, a lot of the Big Ten teams. The Big Ten probably has the biggest schools as a whole, like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. Those are all giant schools compared to the rest of the country. And of course, I mean, some of the SEC teams too. I know, like I think Georgia's got a pretty giant student body too. LSU.
Does Clemson have sub campuses?
We have ICAR, and we have, which isn't really a campus. It's just a research center.
Hey, I'm gonna go quiet for just a minute. I'll be right back, y'all.
Because we have 5. Pitt has 5. There's Pitt Johnstown, Pitt Greensburg, Pitt Erie, Pitt Philly, and what's the other one? Pitt Waynesburg.
I mean, yeah, not really.
They all play each other in basketball too, which is weird.
Yeah, we really just, I mean, we have ICAR, and that's in Greenville, and it's like a research center that's about it. We don't have like satellite campuses.
I know, Mrs. Pete, Pitt Philly is like an oxymoron. I even said that.
Do I think that UGA is a one-hit wonder? No, I don't think they're a one-hit wonder.
No. Who said that anyway?
Sir UGA. No, I don't. I mean, look, it's clear. All you have to do is follow recruiting, and if you maintain the head coach there. So no, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to repeat this year as a national champion, though.
No, I don't either. My money right now. If you ask me to, I mean, I'm saying Alabama probably, and Alabama and Ohio State are my two favorites right now.
I'm not even saying Alabama. I'm saying Ohio State.
I can see that. If you put Ohio State over Alabama, I get it, because that offense is about to be insane. It already is insane, but they're going to be really good.
Mayhem Matthew says, Pigskin Pete loves me. You're mad about me, aren't you? First of all, I do love you, Matt. But mad about you? No. Why would I be? Yes, you are a one-hit wonder, Matthew. If Georgia knocks off Bama in the SEC championship game, then what? I mean, if Leprechaun's fly out of my asshole, then what? I mean, what's your point?
Well, at least they found the other end of the rainbow.
I have no gold to give them, though.
Well, you do. I mean,
well, they're about to kill you, Pete. You know that movie Leprechaun back in the 80s? Shit gave me nightmares.
Yeah. Do I still have my Leprechaun drop? I think I might have. deleted it because Notre Dame became irrelevant to me. I don't think I'd have it anymore. It was a good one too.
See if that's one school.
Here we go.
Hello there, lads and lasses. It's a happy Halloween from the Leprechaun.
Please don't ever play that ever again in your life.
Well, I'm playing now.
Hello there, lads and lasses. It's a happy Halloween from the Leprechaun.
Oh, you're gonna give me nightmares, and I'm in my mid-30s.
Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun. Yes, she was. Did she get killed in that movie? What year did that come out? That had to have been in like early 90s.
I think that was before the 90s.
No, because
Jennifer Aniston wouldn't have been that.
Early.
You
90s.
realize Jennifer Aniston is almost 60.
No, she's
You realize
not.
she's almost 60, right?
She's not almost 60, dude. She might be.
Even if she isn't, I'd still do her.
Well, I would too, but I think she's probably in her early 50s.
She's 53.
53. Yeah.
So yeah, she in the 80s she wouldn't have been.
No, well, first of all,
she wasn't that young in the Leprechaun.
That movie wasn't in the 80s. It was in the 90s, early 90s.
93. Yeah.
It seems older than that, though. In 93, I was only like 4, 5.
K-Dog knows what he's talking about. He's the movie buff around here.
Yeah.
That's probably because he stole every bootleg copy of every movie made.
The Leprechaun.
Funniest one was Leprechaun in the Hood. That was stupid.
That was a good one. Slim said, "I'm out."
Shady Canesley.
Slim said, "I'm out of here, bro." Anyway, you know what? I'm probably out of here too. We're down to talk about the Leprechaun. I think the show's over. But,
yeah.
Millis Vanillis, I don't know where you've been, sir. If you've just been, I don't know if you're taking a shit or if you fell asleep, but you're still here. But you haven't talked for an hour and a half. So, good day to you, sir. Thank you for stopping in. I'll go ahead and get rid of you first. Final words, gentlemen. The ACC people left, so I want to give you both your final words. Talk is Pitt. Go ahead and talk your shit, and then I'll leave it up to Jordan Bowman to do the same after you. Go ahead.
I really do think it's unfair that people are automatically crossing off Pitt because we lost Kenny Pickett, and we're gonna smack a lot of teams in the mouth this year. Trust me. We're going to be gunning for another ACC championship. As much as I want a national championship, so I can say Golden Blue, dude, we have more than you. But, you know, we're contenders. We're not mediocre anymore.
I will say this. I don't care who wins the Coastal Division to meet Clemson in the ACC championship because I feel like Clemson's got a good chance against anybody in the ACC. But just because the Miami fans are so high on themselves this year, I would think it would be great to watch Pitt repeat as Coastal champs and send them back into their hole.
Please.
So, all right, yeah. Man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, brother.
No problem.
All right, I'll see you next time. Talk is Pitt checking in. So now the last two Tatermans left on the show.
Yes, indeed.
Taterman does whatever a tater can, runs down the hill, rubs the rock. The dirty Gamecocks can suck Pete's cock. Look out. Here comes the Taterman. Jordan, yeah, you get the last word, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to come out and say it. DJ throws for 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. He has a bounce back season. Clemson loses one game, no more than one game in the regular season. We go back to the ACC championship game and we make the playoff. That is my prediction for this season. Go Tigers. And yeah. Oh, fuck the Gamecocks.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming.
All right.
All right, man. You guys heard it. You heard it here first.
Clemson fans piss me off.
Thank everybody who came and hung out with us tonight for this impromptu Sunday evening Tater Man stream. Had some great football conversations tonight, and even some delusional people show up, which is always a good thing. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Lunch Money Show at 10 p.m. on Uncle Lou's channel. Make sure you check that out. Until then, though, be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is basically nothing or everything. And have a good Sunday evening. Your boy, Pixie and Pete, checking.